split second decision. I just keep going. I'm running the stop signs. I'm in second gear. I'm in full panic mode. I like stories with connections. And I've told you about the 18-year-old kid on his little 400 Kawasaki riding across the country. Told you about the 40-year-old thinking he can be a Mountie. So how about a story about a oh, whew, shouldn't have ran the bike with the door closed. How about a story about a 19-year-old kid running from the cops on his motorcycle? That's today's story. So it would have been a Friday night, 1983, downtown Windsor, the usual hangout, riding up and down Olette Avenue. Corner of Olette and Giles, there's a Tim Hortons on one side of the road, and there is, or was, I think it's still there, a Firestone station on the other side. So the typical thing was to go cruising down the main drag, Olette, and then go into the Tim Hortons, grab a coffee, go sit on the bike, cross at the Firestone that was closed that night, and just watch the traffic go by, sit on our bikes, and then at some point take a ride up Olette, out of town, come back, do a lap, go downtown. My buddy Leonard and I had taken a ride up Olette Avenue where it turns into Dougal past the expressway, and we were just cruising out of town. And there was a canine unit, or Windsor Police canine unit, in their beautiful Chevy Caprice wagon at that time, sitting at I think it was at a Burger King on the opposite side of the road. I didn't think anything of it, but my buddy Leonard, I don't know if he saw them start to move or he anticipated that they were going to come after us. He suddenly speeds up and at the very next side street makes a quick right turn. I'm like, where's he going? So I get up to that corner and I do the same thing. Well, as I turn the corner, he's going through the next four-way stop. He's not stopping. He's just going. And I had no idea. I thought he was playing some kind of game, getaway or whatever. So I did the same thing. But as I'm going through that four-way stop, that's when I noticed the emergency lights behind me and realized that he's taken off because the cops are coming after us. I didn't even know they were after us. So as they come around the corner, they're watching me run a stop sign. Perfect. Now I'm in a bit of a pickle. I can stop and I've got to explain why I just ran a stop sign. I've got to explain maybe why I was speeding down Dougal. I don't know. And worse, I've got to tell them or explain to them or lie to them about the other bike that's no longer there, who it is, why he ran, do I even know the guy? I just met him. Like, anyway, none of that is really in a split second. I panic and I just do what my buddy did and I take off. And so now they watch me run one stop sign, two, three stop signs. And of course, because they're watching me take off, my buddy Leonard he's taken a quick right turn again and he's gone and they're after me. They're not going after him. Something I haven't mentioned is I have a passenger on the back of my bike, which it makes it that much worse. I always had, and I still do, a rule. If I've got somebody on my bike, I'm driving as careful as possible. I'm trying to give them a nice smooth ride. I'm not endangering their life. Well, I sure am breaking that rule at this point. And I'm not thinking. I'm in full panic mode. Like this cop's coming after me. He's seen me. Like, I'm screwed. So I take off and I get to the end of the side road. There's a park there. and I turn right, and I'm frozen. I'm in second gear. I can't shift anymore. My brain's not functioning well enough to shift. I All I can do is throttle and gas. So I'm on the throttle, hard brake to the last corner, turn hard on the throttle, and just full out. And I go a full block, full city block. Come up to the next intersection. It's a stop sign for me, and it's a bit busier road I'm coming up to, and I'm skidding to a stop. Bike's going sideways, and I'm trying to look, and I see a gap to get out, and I off the brake, back on the gas, and I make a quick left turn, and I make another quick left turn, and I'm coming back the way I just came up the next side street, and the cops are right on me. They're following. They're not close enough to get my plate number, but they're on me, and they're not letting up. Well, as my panic and tunnel vision are still there, I come up to a park, the park that I had turned right to go around. It's right in front of me now, and in this park is, to stop cars from going in it, are posts in the ground, wood posts every 4 feet or so. Well, my bike will fit through these posts, and I just go through the posts into the park. I can't see. I got this genius plan in my head that, oh, I know now. I know how to get away. It just happened, and I'm into the park, and they can't follow me. They try to go around the right, but they're going into a parking lot that dead ends. So I'm going across the grass. I'm still cruising pretty good, but I've slowed down, and I'm hopping and bouncing through the grass. And I come up down off the curb onto the road that I had been on. I get back out onto Dougal out to the 401 and onto the 401 highway, and gone, just gone. I had never looked back, never slowed down until I get over to Walker Road, come back off the highway down onto Walker Road, and that's where I finally. There's a place there, an old used to be an old gravel pit that they hit a spring and turned into a pond. They call it Horseshoe Pond. I rode into Horseshoe Pond, shut the bike off. The pitch dark, and at this point, that's when my passenger is screaming at me, what the heck's going on?" So they had no clue because there was no sirens on the police car. They just had the lights flashing. My passenger, who incidentally I just had my 40th and wedding anniversary with just about a month or so ago, she's livid, and she thought my buddy Leonard and I were just playing some stupid game of keep away or something, trying to catch each other, tag. I don't know. She didn't know we were being chased, and now she's just infuriated because, like, what the hell am I doing? And I feel like a complete fool. Like well, I'm an idiot for running, but I panicked. I guess that's something for the two sides of the stories. One of the reasons why the policies for police pursuits are the way they are these days, because it's very often and possible that police are chasing some kid that's just panicked, and if they keep chasing him, somebody's gonna somebody's gonna end up in a fatal moment, because if that pursuit had gone on any longer, I didn't know any way out of it other than doing what I was doing. And if they kept chasing and I kept my tunnel vision and not knowing what to do, it would have ended in a crash, and it would have been horrific. So that's where police policy is. If somebody's life isn't in danger, meaning like there's not a hostage in the vehicle or there's been gunfire or something like that, like even if it's a bank robber in a car, and there's no indication that somebody's life is in danger in that vehicle, it's just money that's been stolen, they got to call the pursuit off. There's That's why policies are the way they are. There's good and bad to it, because then, if the person running knows that they can't chase them, well, then why stop, right? We get back on the highway or back on Walker Road to head back towards home. We put on different helmets, changed helmets we had at home, and we went back downtown. Went back to the Firestone station, got another coffee at the Timmy's, sat there, and met back up with my buddy Leonard, and then it was like, what the hell was that? And that's when I found out that my buddy Leonard, well, that's something he did on a regular basis. This wasn't a panic mode for him. He just, cops tried to pull him over. He was gone. He would take, he was riding a full Honda Goldwing Aspencade, and he ran with that thing. That's almost exactly the bike that he was riding, full out. And he had ran through like freshly plowed farmers' fields, getting away from police. He didn't care. He just take off, and he got away with it every time, including this time. But later that summer, he got himself into a predicament where he was stopped at a traffic light. There was a car that stopped too close behind him. In his mind, I don't know if there had been some altercation prior to that, but the car came up really close behind him. So he got off his bike, walked back to the car behind him, opened the driver's door, nailed the driver in the head, got back on his bike, and then the car that had been behind that car pulled up beside him. It was an unmarked police car. Of course, he still took off. They probably already had his plate at that point, so they probably were figuring out who he was at that time. Anyway, he took off, and just the way it worked out, he went down a road, made a left, made a right, another right. He ended up going in a complete circle, a big circle. But the problem was, he circled back to where the guys that were chasing him, they radioed it in. By the time they radioed it in, they were at the point where he kind of started his big circle. So as he comes back around, coming back kind of to where he had been, there's 5 police cars there waiting for him, because they converged on the area that the call was made, that the location. And he might not have been the smartest guy, but he was smart enough to know that the gig was up, and he stopped the bike and got off. And that was it for his running career. Or his running from the police ended there. So eventually they catch up with you. So he drove taxi for a living at that time, and his insurance the following year was $13,000 for 1 year. So it cost him dearly. It almost cost him his license. He was like right at the limit of his demerit points that you could have without losing your license. I found something out that night I didn't know. I mean, he was a riding buddy. I didn't know him that well, and I got to know him a little bit better after that. He was still a good friend though, and the following summer we took our bikes and rode to California and back. If you're ever thinking about riding, or if you're ever thinking about running from the cops, I would highly recommend not doing that. It wasn't fun. It was something that I had to disclose when I joined the Mounties. When I did the polygraph, I had to fully disclose that. So they're aware of it. If you're thinking of turning me in, it's too late. They already know. I still feel guilty for putting my now wife's life in danger. Like, I was a kid, I panicked, and it happens. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm still here, still riding, not running. And it's just one of those things that if it doesn't kill you, hopefully you learn from. And that's what life's about, learning. Sometimes you learn the hard way. Sometimes you get a break and you can learn without serious consequences. Now, how do I get out of here?